Well, obviously they do. I mean, this is where kids learn to hurt. It's like every serial killer starts with animals. This is how real killers start, with video games. I mean, have you seen Mortal Kombat? They rip the spine out of a guy. Kids don't know that. They watch a video game, they go, oh, so that's how you do it. Until then, they're just like flailing with their little hands at each other. Once they watch those games, they're like, oh, wait a second. You dig the fingers in the eye sockets, reach down inside, pull the entire jawbone out. Now I've got skills. I mean, come on. Obviously, they're violent and horrible. I mean, in my day, you had with a hooker. You just gave her the money. Thanks to Grand Theft Auto. No, after you have with her, you run her over with the car, get the money back. I don't know what's wrong with this generation. You pay the That's what I say.
All right. Thank you, Simon.
A better time, a simpler time.
A time with more
There was never violence against sex workers before 1989.
Or serial killers.
No.
It was just choring and and total safety.
All right.
Reporters or anything.
Arguing against the proposition that violent video games make kids more prone to real-world violence is George Burgess. George, you have 60 seconds starting now.
I never let my kid play violent video games. And my kid beat the shit out of me. So I think it's pretty clear that not playing those things makes her really violent. Video games don't teach kids that violence is a means towards their goals. Kids these days know that violence is its own reward. Now, you might read in the news that video games are bad. But if you believe the news, then you would also believe that Bush didn't do 9/11. When in fact, Bush did 9/11. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, George.
Concise.
Simon, you have 30 seconds to respond, starting now.
Have you ever seen a kid play video games? They're violent, even if it's a nice game.
Yeah.
I've seen my daughter smash 30 controllers in 1 hour because she's so angry. Video games are made for violence. I have to stand in front of the television and say, not the screen, just the controller. That's how bad violence is in video games.
All right, thank you, Simon. All those Mad Catz controllers down the drain. Okay, George, you have the last word. 30 seconds starting now.
A direct rebuttal is going to be difficult as I was not listening to anything that guy said. But I've played a lot of Mario Kart in my life, and I have never in real life thrown a blue shell at anyone. Ever, except a couple times. Bush did 9/11. Vote for me.
All right. Thank you, George.
I'd just like to say,
You are out of time.
no, this is not about the topic. I just want to say that I think George is the funniest comedian in the country.
Thank you very much.
No, in
I
the
say on
city,
behalf
there's a lot of
George.
funny comedians. But out in the country,
Practically no one.
All right.
I would just like to say that jet fuel can't melt steel beams, but blue shells?
All right. Thank you, guys. All right. And now you, the audience, get to decide. Do you agree with Simon Rakoff that violent video games do make kids prone to real-world violence? Or do you agree with George Burgess that George Bush did 9/11? All right. George wins. That's another point for the Umbrella Corporation.